Hi everyone, welcome to North Jersey Living. I'm Ross Hyman. Today we have a great video for you about pros and cons of living in Glen Ridge. If you like this video or you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also, we would love to hear from you. So if there are any topics that you are interested in, please let us know in the comment area below. And with that, let's get right to it. Okay, so our first pro for Glen Ridge, New Jersey is the school system. I happen to live in a town next to Glen Ridge. I live in Montclair, and Glen Ridge is one of those towns that is frequently talked about for having excellent schools. According to niche.com, Glen Ridge gets an A overall for its school system and an A+ for college prep. It is ranked 6 out of 352 in New Jersey for the best schools with the best teachers in New Jersey. It is a top 10 best school in New Jersey, and it is one of the top 10 best places to teach, again, according to niche.com. Now, there are 3 preschool to second grade schools, pre-K to second grade schools. There are 3rd grade to 6th grade schools. There's one of those, that's the Ridgewood Avenue School. And there is a high school, which is Glen Ridge High School, which covers grades 7 through 12. So if you have an opportunity, take a look online for yourself and see the great schools and the great reviews and ratings that Glen Ridge gets for those schools. And certainly if you have any questions, please feel free to leave us a comment below. We'll be happy to answer them. So the second pro is Glen Ridge is a New York City commuter town, which is one of the many reasons that people move to Glen Ridge. Now, they have one train. There's one train in Glen Ridge. It's the Glen Ridge train station. It goes direct to Midtown Manhattan, to Penn Station. And what's unique, though, about the Glen Ridge transportation system is there is a jitney that goes through the town. It's a very small town. It's about two miles long by about a half mile wide. And so there's a jitney that travels around Glen Ridge and picks up residents who are looking to take the train during commuter hours, during rush hour, before work and after work. That is a truly unique feature in this community, something you don't see in many towns in New Jersey. And they can do that because it's a smaller town. So it's one of the conveniences. There are also buses that run along Bloomfield Avenue that go into the city. Now it takes about 35 minutes by train and about an hour to an hour and a quarter by bus. But bus is a really comfortable alternative. These are more like coach buses where you have a headrest and a seat belt, and you can tilt your chair back a little. So it's a really good experience. Actually, I've taken the bus into the city many times, and it's not what you'd expect from a normal commuter bus. All right, so moving on to the third pro. Glen Ridge has a great small town feel. There are small family-owned shops. There are great parks, the Freeman Gardens, which are known for their roses. There's Harrell Field, which has a track that goes around it. It's a sports field, and so a lot of people do their daily walking and running in Harrell Field. There's a community pool that's just off of Bloomfield Avenue. There's a condominium development there, and actually it's right behind the Starbucks on Bloomfield Avenue, but there's a community pool back there that is very nice and is frequently used by the members of the community. Also, what contributes to this small town feel, and I've talked about this in the Glen Ridge vlog, is the fact that there are gas lamps throughout the town. In fact, that's how you know you're in Glen Ridge when you're in this area, is there, if you see a gas lamp, which are on 24 hours a day, very dimly lit, but those are the street lights for the town, and there are 667 of those in Glen Ridge. Now, there are a total of about 3,000 in the entire country, so Glen Ridge has a pretty nice percentage of them. We'll talk more in other videos specifically about South Orange, where they have even more of these gas lamps. Little side note, these all came from New York City when they were used for their street lights back in the late 1800s. So they were being disposed of, and a lot of the towns like Glen Ridge and South Orange took advantage of that opportunity and refurbished them and installed them in their towns. And now it's a feature in Glen Ridge and South Orange, which you can check out our South Orange video and you'll see more about that there as well. There's not a lot of businesses in Glen Ridge. There's a few little shopping areas. Glen Ridge depends upon Montclair and Bloomfield for most of its shopping areas. But there is a particular restaurant in Glen Ridge that I happen to really love. It's a tavern or pub. It's called Fitzgerald's 1928 Tavern. And that's a place, if you're ever in town, you should check it out. It's right next to the police department, right off of Bloomfield Avenue in Glen Ridge. It's a really charming, old-timey looking place where you can get great burgers and great, just great general American cuisine type foods or eclectic cuisines. So check that out, Fitzgerald's 1928 Tavern. Now, moving on to the fourth pro for Glen Ridge. Glen Ridge has a beautiful country club called, appropriately, the Glen Ridge Country Club. This country club has golf, tennis, swimming. It has a really great fitness club. So if you belong to the country club, you don't need another gym membership. It has a great gym there. And it also is known for its weddings and events that take place there. Of course, there's a membership fee. That's not a public country club. It's a private country club. But the membership fees are actually not astronomical like you would expect at a lot of country clubs. They're fairly reasonable. And it is a very, very popular country club in the area. Considering the size of Glen Ridge, the country club takes up a pretty big chunk of the town. But you should check it out if you're in the area. Moving on to pro number 5. It's a little more of a personal opinion. I mean, I happen to be someone who studied architecture and design, and I happen to really love the architecture in Glen Ridge. I shouldn't say it's a personal opinion, it's a fact. There's great architecture in Glen Ridge, but I happen to be very fond of it. There's a lot of variations in the architecture, and these are the types of houses that people, back when they built these as either second homes or getaways for their city home in New York City, they hired an architect, or sometimes fairly famous architects, to design and build their homes. And there are styles from Victorian to Edwardian to Queen Anne, Italianate villas. There's Gothic architecture. It's really like a textbook of architecture in this small town, which occupies 2 miles by about a half mile wide. So you'd be really impressed. You'll be really impressed when you see the houses that are here in this town. And some of them are estates, and others, of course, there are still smaller homes, small colonials and Cape Cods and things of that sort. But it's an impressive representation of architecture in Glen Ridge. So those are the pros. I'm going to take a moment again to ask you, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And of course, if you would like any help selling or buying a home in the area, or even renting, please contact myself or Greg Nicholas. Our contact information is below. We'd love to help you. Okay, we're back with the cons of living in Glen Ridge, New Jersey. Glen Ridge is a great town. I don't want to say that there are too many cons. In fact, a lot of these towns that we are reviewing have tremendous positive things about them. Of course, there's always something, and we don't want to always say the same things over and over again, like the high cost of living and traffic and things like that. It is unfortunately a feature of living in North Jersey. Those are common things. But Glen Ridge in particular has a really interesting con, which is that unlike a lot of the older towns in New Jersey, some of the smaller towns, it has no real village or downtown shopping area. There are a few shopping plazas, little streets, or places where there's a few shops. There are little areas where there's there's a Starbucks and a Bottle King and things like that. But there's not a central area or central village. And Glen Ridge depends upon Montclair, which is right next door on the west side of it, and Bloomfield, which is on the east side of it, for those larger shopping areas and places where you can stroll around and do your shopping and so forth. So Glen Ridge does not have a village or downtown area. it's not really shouldn't be a big shock because it's 2 miles long and a half mile wide. But that's definitely one of the things that it's missing. Doesn't mean it doesn't have charming shops in the areas where it does have them. It's just not a centrally located center. The second con, we have to cover it because it's a fact, and that is the housing cost. Because Glen Ridge is so small, there's not a huge amount of housing inventory. I mean, there's great houses as we've talked about in the architectural part of this for the pros, but it's very limited. Because of that, there's great demand for the houses that are available. There are the price points of the houses are very high, generally over $1 million. There are some lower priced houses in various parts of the town that I think the South End has more lower priced homes that are more colonials, that are closer together. They have smaller lots and things of that sort. So you can get a house for $500,000 or maybe $600,000. But then you're faced with the taxes. The taxes in Glen Ridge are very high relative to all of New Jersey, in fact, but even more so, they're still expensive relative to northern New Jersey. And one of the reasons for that is that there's a small town, there's no commercial businesses, large commercial businesses, companies, corporations to absorb any of that tax burden. And therefore every house has to pay a considerable amount to maintain the schools and the police and the fire services, and also streets and garbage and things like that, water systems and so forth. And that's actually the third con, which is the high taxes. So I kind of skipped it there, but I'm coming back to it. So the high taxes are a challenge in Glen Ridge. Now, a lot of people move to Glen Ridge for the schools, which are great. And they know that if they're paying high taxes, it's still relatively worth it because they're not having to put their kids in private school, for example. The Glen Ridge schools are of the quality, I've been told that they're of the quality of a private school. And so people will move here and they might have two or three children or more, and they want to put them into really great schools. So they pay the high taxes for Glen Ridge, but it's less than they would pay to put several children in private school. And that's why a lot of people move to Glen Ridge. And then inevitably, when the kids are grown and go to college, a lot of those folks sell their homes, move out, and then new young families move in, or single people move in, or what have you. It's just, that's the cycle. That's how it works. And so the inventory becomes available because of that type of cycle that goes on, where people move here for the schools and move out for the taxes. So that is actually the last con that we have. We're not going to belabor this. Glen Ridge is a fantastic town. We know that you would love it. Come check it out. And if you like this video, you'd like to see more like it, please like and subscribe, or feel free to reach out to Greg and myself. If you are buying or selling a home in northern New Jersey, we'd be happy to help you. We have lots of people like you every day. And with that, thanks very much. See you next time.